welcome to another edition of Conversations of the Heart. Of course, it is your boy T2. Very, very special guest today. We're going to be talking options, trading options, how to, what to do, what that process looks like, and got the perfect person for it. Coming up, his name is Bryan Tillman, my brother. He's doing amazing things in the trading world. So we're going to get started right now. Let me just see where he's at. And we're going to go live.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up?
All right.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? Appreciate you coming on the show here. So just for the intro. So for those who don't know, it's actually my blood brother. And he's actually doing some amazing things in the trading world. Most people know about trading stocks and day trading and as far as holding it for a long time, day trading, selling, trading, things like that. And but it seems like the world of underground fighting. It seems like where people don't know about this, it's trading options, and when people hear that, it's like the underground, like nobody really knows what it is, or what that's about, right? You have some people in the space, but when it comes to commercially, a lot of people really just day trade, or they just trade and hold for a long period of time, right?
Right.
But you got into trading options, and you've been, quite successful. I'm not going to put numbers out there. Nobody been in the streets, you know what I mean? But you've been very successful, in the trading options game. So just for the people at home, who are looking for a second source of income, especially during these times where people are being laid off, people, who live in high volume cities like New York, California, and, Chicago, or wherever, where it's, hey, yeah, a little bit, it's not, not like Cali, where, you need a second income, to kind of even make ends meet, right? So how does, what is trading options? What's the difference between, trading on the stock market, just day trading, and I'll buy a stock in Netflix and I'll hold, or crypto, or whatever that stock is, and you might flip it in like a month or two. People are used to that, right? So what is the difference between kind of trading regular, just stocks, buying like a Netflix stock, but then and doing what you do and trading options?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of strategies out here to trade options, right? The one I use is real simple. It's basically I buy calls and puts. When the stock goes up, you buy calls. When the stock goes down, you buy puts. Think of options like this. It's basically contracts that allow you to control a larger amount of stocks with low capital. So it's let me break this down a little bit further. I'll give you a couple examples, right? So let's say you wanted to own Apple shares, right? And trade it to make $2,000. You have to buy 1,000 shares of Apple, which costs $165 per share, which means you would need about $165,000 to do this, right? Then after you bought the Apple shares, the 1,000 shares, Apple would have to go up $2 for you to make $2,000, right? So I don't know about you, but for me, $165,000 is a lot just to make $2,000, right? So let's look at the options part of it. So now, when you trade options on Apple, we buy contracts. One contract of Apple equals 100 shares, and that one contract costs about $150, right? So we would have to buy about 10 of those to control 1,000 shares. So all 10 of those option contracts will cost you about $1,500. If Apple goes up or down, you can make your $2,000. So basically, in the first example, right, you bought and owned 1,000 shares of Apple for $165,000. The price goes up $2, and then you sell it to make $2,000. In the second example, you traded 10 Apple contracts for $1,500. The stock moved $2 up or down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to go up. Like when you're owning it has to go up, but it doesn't. It can go up or down. right? In this case, and you still make the 2,000. So in this case, from trading options, it's like leasing shares at a cheaper cost to make the same money. So in this case that I just gave you, in this example with the options, man, we just made 135% profit, right? Because we only put up 1,500 and we made 2,000. So where else you're gonna make 100% profit? Where else? Like, there's nowhere else. You know, that's one of the reasons why I love options. You know what I mean? Like, because you can take a small amount of money and make a lot of cash.
So this is why I feel like trading options is like, I feel like it's underground. I feel like it's like people kind of don't know, or they don't know the details of it.
Right.
But people will. Why don't people do this versus day trading? Because people day trade all day long. So why do people do this?
I mean, some people don't know about it. It's not taught, right? It's not taught in school.
Right.
That's another thing, because a lot of our congressmen, Nancy Pelosi's big on it. They make good, so they don't really want to teach you this type of stuff because you may not work, right? You might start making $1,000. God forbid you make $1,000 a day and don't need a job. So it's not taught in our schools. That's one of the things I'm working on, trying to work with a couple of friends of mine and my mentor, going to schools and trying to teach it to the young kids, you know, because that gives them a different way to go as opposed to just working for somebody for the rest of your life. But it's really not. It's just not taught. You know what I mean? It's not part of the school system. It's sort of like it's done, but it's done mainstream behind the scenes, right? Like, so Nancy Pelosi bought like 1,000 calls. She just made $14 million yesterday. Nobody really knows about it because no one's paying attention, but it's done every day, right? So it's just now we're trying to get into that space so that we can leverage small amounts of money to make larger amounts of money, right? Because you don't really need to put that much. We only put 1,500 in, and then we made it 2,000. But if you bought the actual shares, you would have to have 165,000. And then those to have those big movements, you need big stocks, right? You need the Apples, you need the Netflix. But the problem is that puts us at a disadvantage because we don't have most of us don't have $165,000 laying around just to throw in a day trade. So, but, you know, you put hands on 1,500 to make that, you know, 2,000. So, you know, I just think it's just one of those things that's been planned where they just don't teach us these things, you know?
So take us back. So how did you first even, you know, so since it's not really broadcasted a lot, it's not commercial, you know, it's not just like 401ks or just day trading and you're holding and things like that. How did you get involved in it?
Well, I was holding shares, right? I was holding shares of NVIDIA about, you know, NVIDIA went on a run like for 2 days, like $20. So I was up like $4,000. I was feeling good. I was telling a friend of mine, he was like, yo, how much you up? I'm like, yo, I'm up $4,000. I'm, you know, this is a good 2 days. So I asked him, you know, he's like, I said, do you, you know, are you trading NVIDIA? He's like, oh, I traded, but I got the options on it. So I said, you know, how much did you, you know, if you don't mind me asking, how much are you up? He's like, about 40,000. So I was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong because I'm only, if the stock went on a tear and I made 4,000, he made 40,000. And he was able to use and leverage the same amount of money I had to make 40,000 because it just ran, right? So he used a small amount of money to make 10 times what I made. So once I started asking him about it and understanding what it was, then I wanted to get involved because I'm not playing the game right. I mean, I'm happy with the 4, don't get me wrong, but I'm not playing the game right. And then I started understanding the fact that, hey, if NVIDIA goes down tomorrow, I'm going to lose all that money, right? So if I hold, I'll make 4,000 and it goes down 2 days from now, because a lot of times stocks go up and then they retrace and go back down, I'll lose 3,000, 4,000. I can lose the whole thing, right? Holding on to it. So, you know, it's you can long hold. I do hold stocks, right? And I don't talk against that. I think it's great, you know, long term, like flipping, right? You can hold a high term, and this is flipping money. So I think that when the market's bad, like it's a bear market like it was last year, you can make money on the down. So if you're holding stocks, you're actually losing money, right? So people who hold stocks can use options to actually leverage and say, okay, I'm gonna make money on the down, even though my portfolio's down. I'm trading options, so I'm still making money while the stock is going down. So it doesn't, you know, leave you out just because, you know, you have long-term holds. There's nothing wrong with long. That's a big thing. But I just think that people have to just do both, right? And then once you get involved with it, you start realizing that a lot of people know about this. And a lot of people are doing this. It's just not us. Our community is not doing it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks have been doing this for years. Like, just think if I knew about this when I was 20, you know? So, you know, it's just, and that's why it's so important you have these shows and bring these awareness. So I appreciate that, man.
Definitely. That's a lot of information, a lot of good, and that's a lot of good information for people to know. So what does one need to get started trading options? You know, that's something also somebody might say, you know, I trade with Robinhood, or, you know, or different people use different platforms to trade money, right? To trade stocks and things like that. So what do you really need to get started to trade options?
The thing about options is that you don't need a lot, right? You don't need like hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can start with as little as 500. I use Thinkorswim. The reason why I use them, that's a TD Ameritrade account. The reason why I use them is because they have a paper trading feature. So when you're starting out trading options, that allows you to actually practice and trade with fake money, before you use your real money, before you gamble or mess up your real money. So, I think that's a good platform to start with. They're known for options, it's a great platform. So you need like the $500 to trade minimum, right? We normally tell people to put more money in, maybe about 3,000 to 4,000, only because when you're using 500, you can only trade cheaper stocks, and then you have to use your entire account, which is, it's hard to do, because if you're using everything you got in the account, you're not going to stay in. It'll be harder for you to stay in. You may panic sell. So we normally tell people to use 10% of their account. So I like to tell people 3,000 to 4,000 is a nice number. But if you have 500 and you want to jump in, 500 is all you really need. You do need Trading View as well. That's the stock charts. That's to look up stock charts and analyze stock charts. So you need a subscription with them. They're about $40 a month. So, that's something you need as well. So the subscription to Trading View and a brokerage account is pretty much all you need.
Okay. So tips. So the one thing about day trading is it's different because it'll keep you honest, because it's like, certain stocks cost rent, like, cost, 1,500 a stock, some, between 500 to 1,500 to high 20, it's different, right? So it's like, because you could look at the stock and say, can't afford that one, right? It keeps you honest, right? But when it comes to trading options, it seems like you can get a lot for your money, which in turn can now make you want to risk more, right? I think when you're day trading, it's like, you don't have, a certain amount of money, to do that much trading, right? Some people do, but I mean, for a lot of people, it's just like, I don't got 10,000 for this stock, or I don't have, 20,000 for this stock, or 1,500, or whatever that number is. It's like, all right, that's just what I'm gonna do, right? Like Berkshire, like a lot of people can't get into Berkshire, right? Like that's not feasible, right? For and that's A and B, right? So with that said, now it's like if you're trading options on it, a lot of people can get hungry, trade more risks, right? And that's the thing about risk. So what would you say is the key to kind of being responsible in trading options?
I would say risk management. Risk management is important. We always tell people not to use more than 10% of their account. That's how you keep yourself honest, because if you use more than 10 to 15% of your account, you're going to be nervous in the play, right? You're going to be in the trade. If the trade happens to go up or down against you a little bit, you're going to panic sell. And also, that just keeps you from blowing your account. Like if you have $10,000 and you're in the whole $10,000 and something goes wrong, you don't want to blow your whole account. So risk management is very important. Also, trading is a skill that takes discipline, right? So 90% of trading is mental, and I say about 10% is technical. So for example, I don't stay in trades all day or for long periods of time, because I just can't take the fluctuation. So I trade stocks that sort of move fast and move a lot. I take a small piece of that move, couple thousand, and I'm done for the day, right? So once I normally go against my rules, I normally lose money, right? So it's about discipline. it's about discipline with your goals as well. So, for example, if you set a goal of $300 per day and you make that goal, stop trading, right? There's a lot of people will jump back in the market, start trading again, and then lose their money. Then they're revenge trading, trying to get the money they lost, and then it's a disaster, right? So, and since that trading is mostly mental, knowing how to step away is also important, man. Like, if I'm having a bad day or frustrated, argument with the wife, I'm stressed, going through something, I probably won't trade. And I just started realizing that. Because your money and the stock market don't care nothing about your emotion. You know what I mean? It's all about emotional intelligence. So, that's very important. Emotional intelligence, discipline. A lot of us in our community have bad relationships with money. You know what I'm saying? And if you do, it's going to come out in your trading. You're going to be more risky. You'll gamble, right? You won't have any discipline. And this ties into a lot of the principles that Free Joel talks about. He teaches about finance and debt. So if you get your finances in order, which takes discipline, you'll probably be a better trader.
And that's interesting because, I think it's also Financial Literacy Month. So that's a good plug right there. But, when it comes to being disciplined, because look, what you said caught me was it's almost like a casino. Right, where you're trying to, you go in with a certain amount, you go over, you lose, and now you're at the table again, trying to get back the money that you lost. The only thing difference is in the casino there's no clocks, so you could be there all day and not even know it, and that's by design. But it's almost the same thing. It seems like with trading options, because it seems like a great opportunity for people to get a second stream of income. And you can set goals for 300, right? But then goals change, right? Listen, I've made 300. Well, I might can make 4. I might can make 5. Well, I've seen somebody else make 1,000,
right?
And because it is an option, for people to go in with lower end money, versus the day trading and things like that,
right?
That could be addictive too, because you have more opportunity, right, to make big money from little money. So what you're saying is it's very important for people to understand, your personality.
Absolutely.
If you're
goal up here, man.
If you're like an adrenaline like if you love adrenaline, if you love risk, it could be a little bit of a problem.
Absolutely.
Right? Because but these are the people who are in the casinos. Like, these are the people a lot of times who love risk, and you know what I'm saying? Like, big risk, big reward,
sure.
Right? Like, and you go hard like that, right? But it's but like you said, I think it's also knowing what you can afford.
Right.
Knowing what your budget is, because like you said, I think, because it's like what that Free Joel says is make a budget, and maybe if you make a budget with this thing, and kind of keep to it, you can still make your money, but you won't lose a lot of money.
So let me start it, right? So when I started, the market was amazing because it was bearish. Everything was going down. So I would get in plays in like 10 minutes, make $5,000, right? I'm up $5,000. I'm good. Close the computer. I got discipline. But the next day, I'm in a play that's like cost $5,000. So I messed around and lose half the money that I made. You know what I mean? I messed around and lost half the money that I made on Monday. I'm like 50% down by Wednesday, right? Because I don't know what I'm doing, first of all, and then second of all, I made 5, so I can play with 5, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not the strategy. The strategy is to use 10% of your account, right? Mm-hmm. Also have a strategy of how much you're willing to lose, right? I started giving myself a strategy. I'm not willing to lose more than 10%, 5%, whatever it is that you're willing to lose. That's your cutoff, right? I don't care. That's you're like, okay, I'm down $100. I'm done. So just setting goals for yourself, setting strategies and parameters, it really helps. This whole thing is mental, man. It's you'd be surprised that this is mostly mental. It's not, it's technical, yes, but most of it is mental.
It seems like it could be emotional too. Um, Especially if you sometimes, like you said, like when people not bet, but when people invest, sometimes it can be emotional, especially if you just want a lot of money, you happy, right? Like you're in a good place. Like, I just want $5,000. I'm about to go ahead and be more aggressive.
Right.
Right. That's the adrenaline. That's that piece where it's like you become addicted to the money. Right. And sometimes that's probably why I haven't really bet too much in the casinos. You know what I'm saying? Because that I probably be in there all day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just that adrenaline rush that people get for the thought of the opportunity
Right.
of wealth and success and getting more money, because that's what this world is.
Right.
If you don't have money, you don't have nothing. Like that's what it pushes. You know what I'm saying? So especially for men. I know some women do it. They trade too, but I know from a lot of women that I speak to, they have stocks in place, but they're holders.
I know a lot of trade, like the women in our group. Man, the women in our group are better than the men, controlling their emotions. You know how we say that? Some people say that women are emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Women are men when it comes to their emotions and setting standards and budgets and being strict on when they're getting in and when they're getting out. So, and that's another thing. You can't look at this like gambling. It's actually a skill that you're going to learn, right? So that 10%, you got to get a course. You got to get with people. You got to learn it, right? Because once you learn it, you're confident, right? So we have people who are also, like you said, like my mentor, he's an adrenaline junkie. He's like what you said. So he has to have a lot of rules in place. I'm only getting into play if it's this. I'm only getting to play if it's that, right? But he knows how much he's willing to lose. So he has a lot of rules in place. So it's important to just create a lot of rules for yourself. About them. So again, that's the discipline piece, right? It's all mental at the end of the day. If you know what you're doing, like for example, if you make $250 a day, when I was trading and I was making a lot of money and a little money, so it was inconsistent for me. I make $5,000 one day, $700 another day. I'm like, listen, I need to try to figure out what I can consistently make every day. So $250. And $250 started becoming real easy for me to do. So I did that for like 3 months. $250 a day is like $60,000 a year. You don't realize it when you let your money sit and compound. That's $5,000 a month. So after like 3 months, you got $15,000. You know what I mean? So, just setting that parameter, saying, hey, I'm gonna only do $250, and I close my laptop. I don't care what if the stock kept running. I don't care what happened. I stopped. Right. So I started building that discipline up, and then after that, I moved up slowly and did $400 a day, and I was able to learn and understand. So I think that the most important thing, what I tell people when they first come in, is that $250 a day is my lowest. And I feel like that's what you should aspire to. It could be $100 a day, actually. But $250 is a good number because it's very easy to make $250 trading options very easily, and you can do that very quickly. So.
Okay. So I know you said it's not like the casino and gambling, but some people can treat it like that, right?
Discipline. So
you gotta treat it like a job or a trade skill where you go in there every day and you learn, I guess, and you learn the skill, you learn the trade. It's just like being like on the job.
Right.
You get a job, you have training, you have all these things that you got to do to ensure that you have the right tools to go ahead and do this job.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's how you have to approach it. So you can't approach it like it's a casino where you're like, yo, I'm putting 10,000 on black.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a gamble. Some people have that luck or skill, and they make a lot of money doing that too. But for most people, that's not what they just go in there and they just they blow the money, right? So it's very important to know that you have to be, I guess, very financially disciplined, right? In order to do this, and if you do this, then you can make a decent amount of money. Now, what kind of money are you talking about? Like now, like I said, not getting into your pockets. You in a different bracket. we're not talking about you per se, but we're talking about somebody who is working full time, or maybe they just got laid off. Whatever their situation is, like what's some of the type of money that they can honestly make? Kind of just starting out, like we're looking first year.
Mm-hmm. You can start out with about 200, 250, right? Like I was saying, that's people who start in our group. I normally help them when they start. That's the amount that I pretty much tell them, about 250. 250 is a good amount. The stocks, if you play stocks that move fast, you don't have to be in the market a long time, and you can make $250 pretty easily. And just learn the skill, right? That's the most important thing. Learning that skill and being confident in your trades and why you're getting in a trade. Because we're not market makers. We're not Goldman Sachs. We don't know. We're not guessing which way the market's going. That's not what we're doing. Oh, it's a very reactive skill. So all we're doing is watching the charts and reacting to what we see. I'm not saying, hey, Netflix is going to do this in another 10 minutes. That's how you lose money. When you start thinking you can beat the market, you're going to lose every time, right? Because you don't know. You're just reacting to what you see. But
it's like trying to beat the house. Yeah. It's like trying to beat the house. Yo, it's the casino, baby. It's the same thing.
You can't guess. You don't know, right? You have to do what you see. You just literally reacting to what you see based on the charts. And then you're hopping in a trade and then hopping out.
Mm-hmm.
But the best part of options, what I really like about options is the mobility, right? So you can trade options from your phone, your laptop, anywhere in the world. You're not confined to a desk or a city. You can trade in another country. You can trade anywhere, right? So that's one of the beautiful things about it. And then the time freedom, right? The time freedom, and it beats inflation. So what I mean by that is that you can make money pretty fast trading options, right? I've made thousands in 10 minutes before. I'm not in the market all day. The longest I'm in the market is about 2 hours. And I have the rest of the day to myself. So the ability to make money faster helps you beat inflation, of course. And then you got to think about it. The average person at a job takes 8 to 9 hours to make $250 a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that in options in 10, 15 minutes. So, which brings me to the next reason I trade option is the unlimited earning potentials, right? Like you can make $50 per day. You can make, $1,000 per day, which is about $240 per year. You can make $100K in one day. I've seen that, right? It all depends on you and your goals and the amount of money you're working with and what you're looking to do with it. You just have so many options, pun intended.
Definitely. That was a good plug right there. Yeah. So I think you mentioned, you had a mentor, and you're in a group, and people who do this. So would you suggest that somebody join a group like yours, or would you suggest that somebody hop on YouTube? I'm sure there's tons of tutorials on how to trade options on YouTube. Like YouTube is like the learning center of the world. You can learn how to do anything on YouTube because you can find a video for it. You can learn how to change a tire on YouTube or whatever it is. There's tutorials for.
Right.
So, what would you suggest?
I would suggest becoming part of a community, learning it, taking a course, learning this, getting that skill down, because what you want to do is get the skill of it down, reading the charts, learning the skill part of it, right? And then getting with the group, because you have people who are doing what you're doing, right? In our group, we have all different types of levels. We have 7-figure traders. We have 6-figure traders. We got beginners, right? So when you come to my group, I'll help you when you first start. Right, I hope you get started because when I first started, I was really consistent. That's one of the things my mentor liked about me. He's really consistent. So a mentorship's important. Some courses, so you understand exactly what you're doing. You don't want to get in here and start gambling your money, right? Giving donations to charity, paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So and then when you're in a group, we also give call outs, right? So there's things that we all see and we all know. So we help each other. So the group is important. It's a community of thousands of people, and we have smaller calls. We actually help each other and give each other call outs and plays. So I'll be trading with my mentor sometimes. He's a millionaire. Wouldn't you rather trade with the millionaire side by side than, I can ask him a question as opposed to on YouTube. You don't know who this person is on YouTube. This person could be fronting, they could be lying, they could be don't know what they're doing, right? So I would say definitely to get in the community, or get in a course. At least get a course, learn it, understand it, absorb it, and don't go at it alone, because going at it alone, you're going to lose money. I mean, you're going to lose a lot of money, right? Because it's like paying tuition to the market. Instead of learning and paying tuition to someone to teach you, right? Some people don't want to spend like $1,000 for a course, or where they don't want to spend money, right? But then they'll go into the market, lose $2,000. So you just paid tuition, right? You just lost $2,000, and you don't even really know what you did wrong. So I definitely think it's good not to go at it alone, and to get into a group and have that support.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to, because it's the one thing that I wanted to ask and bring up here, because I think it's important for people to know. From my understanding, across the board, whether you're trading options, day trading, whatever the case is, you have to be very careful about pulling out your money. Because as soon as you pull out your money, right, especially if it's a lump sum or whatever the case is, you got to hold some of this money for taxes.
Right.
Because, at the end of it, you'll get a form that says, your income is this. So if you're working full time, it's like, and you're already making 70,000, let's just say, and then you're day trading, and then you're making 50,000, right? Now that puts you, boom. Now you're making six figures, right? Tax bracket, it's different. And now it's going. These are things that you can be taxed on. And I think it's important to understand that, okay, just because you made 60,000 in the year, or you have a lump sum that's accumulated of 6,000, you take it out, and then you put it up, and then you put it all down payment on a new condo or a car or whatever the case is, right? Right. And then once April comes, you go to your CPA, and they tell you, okay, well, you got to pay taxes on said $60,000, right? At whatever tax bracket that you are. And that in itself could be daunting, because you hope that now you've made some more money back that's in the account so that you can pay the taxes. But that could be a lot of taxes at once. The difference is when you're working a regular job, the taxes get taken out automatically, like the federal or the state. Some people you might owe later on, but for the most part, it's your taxes get taken out every single paycheck. So you feel it right then, right? But with this, it's like, yo, I got 50 grand in my brokerage account. I got 60 grand in I got 100,000 in my brokerage account. I'm good. And then you go do whatever it is that you want to do with it, right? And then you got that tax bill could be pretty hefty, and that could be a big problem if you don't have the money to pay that back.
Oh yeah.
So
what I do, what I normally do is I do half and half. So I leave 50% in my brokerage account, and then I'll living off the money. I'll use 50% to live off and 50% in the brokerage account. Your tax is not going to be 50%, but leave it in the brokerage account, so that this way at the end of the year you at least have 50% of what you made. If there's a tax bill that you have, then you have the money. So that's how I do it. That's how I've been doing it. It's worked for me. And let me say this: I also trade options as a business, so it's actually part of my LLC. You can trade on an LLC. This way you get more deductions. You can write off mentorships, subscriptions for the charge, the internet you use, the office space in your house, like part of your house you can write off, the cell phone. So that's how I do it, right? But I'm not a tax professional, so do your due diligence and contact your CPAs. But yes, that's how I. You can trade as a business on an LLC, and get a lot more tax deductions like that. You can write off a lot more things, which will help, with your tax liabilities.
And now this is particular. Now I want to make a disclaimer. This is for people who are trading, because let me tell you this: if you have an LLC, just a regular LLC, and whatever it is that business is, most businesses operate at a loss within the first 5 years. So if you're trying to write off your rent, it's not going to work. Because you could write it off, but the IRS, they hold it until your business becomes profitable in order for you to use that as a deduction. So I just want to put that out there. This is if you're trading. This is if you're using your LLC for trading.
I
Right?
said, contact that CPA,
Please
do your due diligence.
do that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you operate at the loss doing it, please,
Mhm.
get yourself in trouble. But so when it comes to, I don't know many groups who are doing this. You do, right? So if somebody wants to join your group, how do they get involved?
It's called We Got Options, WGO. My mentor is named Kevin Franks. His IG handle is @KnotsDon'tFold. Information's in his bio, or anybody can reach out to me directly, and I'll put you in touch with that group. But it's an excellent group. A lot of young millionaires. Man, I've never seen so many young millionaires in my life. I mean, young girls, 26, 27, 32, 31, pulling in $1 million a year, $2 million a year, $500,000. These are kids, man. Like, think about it. I mean, they're doing stuff that I just look in awe. Like, I can't even imagine making $1 million when I was 22, 24 years old. You know what I mean? That's normal to them. Like, $1 million is not even, they're not even like, excited about it. They're like, yeah, I'm trying to go for $2 million next year. It's just beautiful to see, our community get money like that, right? And again, tell anybody to quit their job and do this. I would say earn the skill, right, while you do your job. And like I said, it's easy to make $250 to $400 a day. So if you do this, you can do this as much or as little as you want. So if you want to make $400 a week, your rent is $1,600. Use it to pay your rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, then if your job lays you off, you already have a skill that and a way to make income. So,
Right. And there's nothing wrong with, look, honestly, like, if you're working and you're making a good amount of money, great. And now if you use this as a second stream, it's great. It doesn't have to be either or. It could be both. Until you're ready to let that job go, because those jobs come with medical benefits. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that whatever it is that you do, you make sure that your health benefits are covered. You make sure that you're in a place where that at least is covered before you make a move, which is very important. And just make sure that you have a good track record of making that bread before you make a move.
Absolutely.
Right? And also, if you utilize two streams of income, a lot of America is in debt. So if you're in debt with, it could be student loans, it could be credit cards, it could be personal loans, car loans, whatever that is, mortgages. If you with two incomes like this, you could use both, to expedite you getting out of debt quicker and sooner.
The best part about this is that it's not time consuming, right? You can make money in 15 minutes. So you went to work all day. Let's say you make 50,000. You went to work all day. It took you 9 hours to make this 50 grand. It's $250 they're paying you for the day. You can make that 250 in 10, 15 minutes. So you know how people want to work two jobs? It's hard to do two jobs. You got kids, you got responsibilities, you're tired,
Tired.
Here, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do a trade, get this 250, couple hours or hour in a day or whatever, 30 minutes, go whatever I'm doing. So the time freedom is amazing as well. Like just that time freedom that you can do this with the least amount of time, right? So that can help people as well. The part that's amazing is how fast you can make money, right? But you have to be disciplined because as fast as you can make it,
fast you can lose it,
right? So, but the discipline piece, the 250 is really easy, man. Like at 200, 250 a day. Some people, I had a friend, one of the guys in my group, he started he was only making $60, $70, $70 a day. That was it for him. And now he's amassed like $1 million. He's grown for like 2 years. We started together, and he's amassed $1 million doing this. So he's been very successful. And he took baby steps, right? This is not a get rich quick scheme at all. It might feel like it or seem like it. It's not get rich quick. It's a lot of research, a lot of time, a lot of dedication. I took a lot of time. You're gonna take some L's. The thing about options is you're going to lose trades, right? You're going to lose, right? That's the thing that some people don't tell you. If someone tells you that they don't lose trades, they're lying, right? If you have a mentor or somebody you want to get in that group and they say, oh no, we have 100% trade win rate and we don't lose, that's a red flag. because you're going to lose trades. You know, the goal is to win more than you lose. Other day I traded Netflix, made $1,000. I lost 500. I'm up 500 for the day, but I lost the trade, right? So you like I said, you just have to be careful when you join these groups because they'll sell you dreams, right? You just want people to be honest with you. The group should, when you join a group, they should also talk about risk management, right? If people are not talking about risk management, mindset, right? In our group, we talk about mindset because, you know, like I said, our community has a bad relationship with money. So some people come into this like, I need to get this bread, right? Like I got people come in here like, yo, I got child support. I got to get this bread. And that's the wrong attitude to come in here. You know, you're coming in to learn something that's going to help you out in the future, help you build wealth. But if you come in saying it's a quick get rich thing, you're going to lose. It's just your mindset is everything. So our group teaches all that. We have people in the group that they work on mindset. They come on mindset videos. We talk about mindset. You got people in the group that's senior like me and a couple other people that you want to talk to. You got issues. You got, you know, some people, I tell people to stop trading, you know, like you messed up. I'm like, listen, take the day off. Take the day off, right? It's okay. If you lost $100, take the day. Stop trying to get the money back. Just take the day off, right? And like I said, if your mind is not where it need to be, take the day off. Step away. Take a walk, you know, just because, you know, that's the emotional intelligence part of it. That's real hard for people to do as well. As soon as some people not feeling right, but they can trade anyway, and they use that like, I'm gonna trade, I get this money, make me feel better. Your mind's not right, so you're most likely gonna lose that money because you're not thinking correctly, right? Your mind's not clear. You may make some hasty decisions, right? Because you're frustrated. Or you may need patience.
Right, and I know I keep comparing it to casinos, but like it's like when you go to the casino and you lose, what's the first instinct you think of doing?
Right.
It's to get their money back. Like that's I'm gonna go get this money back. You know what I'm saying? Now you go into the ATM that charged you $5. You know what I'm saying to get your money. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like you just gonna be boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? And then you like, and normally you don't ever get the money back.
Right.
Like at that time, right? Like it's normally the people who chill. They may take the L for the day, but then they might go back tomorrow to that casino and do what they do to win back some bread, right? So, you know, it's emotional.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's very like it's an adrenaline. Like I don't think people really understand sometimes the adrenaline part of it.
Yeah.
Like if you ever gambled, if you've ever been to Atlantic City, and it's not so great anymore, but Atlantic City, Vegas, whatever, Foxwoods, you've ever gambled.
I would tell people to remember the why.
It's adrenaline.
Right? Like I would tell people to remember the why, right? So for me, because I wanted financial freedom, I didn't want to depend on a job, right? I wanted wealth. I wanted to do things on my own, you know, whatever I wanted to do, where I wanted to do. I just wanted freedom. That was my why. You remember your why, then you're gonna focus in and laser and you know, focus in on why you're doing this. You're gonna put that work in because it's work. You know, we watch. You know, it's like watching film. You go back and look and see what the stock did. You get to know what stocks do. You gotta know what's going on in the economy, right? What meetings are happening, not to trade, when to trade. So it's really a skill set, and it's really a lot to it. I know we're talking quick here, but it's a lot to it. So if you can put that learning in, but that why got to be important. So if you say, like when I said freedom, that's all I needed. I needed financial freedom. I need freedom, time freedom. I want to have my own time. I want to have, you know, financial freedom. I want to do what I want to do on my own terms. That was important to me, right? And I had a job. Right. I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep this job. And I'm gonna learn this skill. I'm gonna learn. You know, and it takes time. It's not an overnight thing. Even though people think and it seems that way, it's not overnight. It takes time, right? And that's why paper trading, why you learn to trade options. And once you get good, you can get off the paper and then really put your real paper in there. And but like I said, it's not gambling. It's not a casino. It can give you that casino feelings, but it's a skill. Once you learn the skill, you're more confident in the way you trade and what you're doing. So when you're confident in what you're doing, like right now, I know no matter what, I can make $300 a day. That's a good feeling. So if I just, you know, I know I can make 300. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good feeling. Say, okay, I know no matter what, I can make $300 a day. I can get 300 a day, which is not bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
that's 72,000 a year. When you look at money, that's another good thing about options. It breaks down money for you, and money doesn't seem so far off, right? So if someone says, "Hey, T, you want to make $240,000 next year," you're like, "Damn, yeah, I want to make 240,000, but how am I gonna do it, right?" But when you see, okay, $400 a day is 100,000, you know, another $400 is 200,000. That's $800 a day. So I'm already making four, so eight is not so far, right? So it kind of keeps it in perspective where you don't feel like money is so far away. Like I was making a couple thousand a day, and I started realizing if I want to make $1,000,000 a year, it's only 4,000 a day. Well, if I'm already making 2,000, I'm not that far off, right? So it kind of keeps everything reachable for you in your mind, right? Like I would have never thought about making $1,000,000 in a year at all. Like not off anything I'm doing, because it's like, you know, I have my own businesses, but it's not that I'm producing like that yet. So to me, $1,000,000 back when I was younger, a couple years ago, it was far off. It was like, okay, I want to make $1,000,000 a year. I'll probably be doing that in another 5 years, maybe 6, 7 years. Trading options, I'd be like, okay, I can do $1,000,000 by next year, right? So it just puts things in perspective and brings certain levels of money closer to you where you feel like you can touch it, because you actually can. You know what I'm saying? You have to have, your money has to work for you, right? You can't keep working for your money. My money, I used to go to work, but my money was working for me too. So you got to send your money out there, let it work, have some babies, and bring them back home, right? That's what you got to do. Send your money out there. Money got to have babies, man. You got to multiply.
Ooh, okay. I wasn't sure where you was going with that, but yes, now I understand. Yes.
I ain't gonna get a pause on it, but you know,
Yeah. I wasn't sure. But you're right. And I think the goal is, you know, well, I also think that we also live in an era where it's get to the bag.
Yeah.
And by any means necessary, and you get to the bag, and it needs to be quick. You know, it has to be like yesterday. Like we need it. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday, and we don't have patience to kind of wait on money. And I think it's important for people to understand that what you're talking about, trading options, is another stream of income that will accumulate.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You might come up like with one of those lucky, you know, days that you like, yo, I made 25,000. And if you get one of those,
I had one.
God bless, right? So you got one, right? But that's not the everyday thing.
No.
So this is a path to steady growth. So if you're making $250 a day, $300 a day, and you're working, you know what that is putting you in a position, you know, at a point to where if you do get laid off, right, you now have money, right, to hold you over for your bills to be paid, your mortgage to be paid, your rent to be paid. You know, if your kid has, you know, school or tuition or whatever the case is, or daycare, or whatever your expenses are, this could actually put you in a position to maintain that. At bare minimum, to maintain your bills and to maintain the things that you need to have in life, and whatever the case is, as you look for another job, or if you're going into this full time, or you have a business, whatever it is, especially in these economic times, right? We see where certain things are going, and people are getting laid off every day. I think Amazon might lay off another 10,000 people within the next 4 days. So this is the reason why we're having this conversation. This is the reason why I wanted you to come on and talk about this, because you're very passionate about, you know, trading options. You've been successful with trading options, and you're teaching other people and coaching other people rather on trading options and how this whole thing works for our community. And that's what this is about, putting this information out there for our community so they can go out there and be successful, and have a chance, you know, and have a chance at being wealthy and making money, you know.
T, everybody should know how to trade options. It should be part of your school curriculum, because it's the world we live in, right? Options are being traded constantly all day, right? You got people making millions of dollars doing nothing but trading options. They're not doing anything, right? So it's like something that everyone should know how to do because you can feed yourself off it, but it's just not taught, right? Because they don't want you to feed yourself that way. They don't want you to have that type of independence. But it's definitely something I think that everybody should at least know how to do. I'm not saying you have to do it all the time. You can do it once a month. I would say if you want to start it, try to find a bill to pay doing it. That's what I tell people when they start. Hey, pay your cell phone, pay your cable, right? Trade options for your cable. How much your cable? $200. How much is that a day, right? Your cable's $200. If it's what, $20 a day. See if you can make $20, $30 a day. That's easy to do, right? You could probably make $100 in one trade, $200 in one trade. Hey, I just paid my cable bill, right? Just start small, baby steps. It's all baby steps first. Pay something, find something to pay, cell phone bill, utility bill, and say, hey, I'm going to try options and do it consistent. Do it 1 month, boom, I did it. Second month, boom, I did it. So now you're like, okay, I can pay my cell phone bill, my utility bill. Now the confidence is being built, and it's consistency that's important. That's the most important thing, consistency, right? Like when I was trading, I was making $4,000 and then making $300. No consistency there, right? I don't know what I'm doing yet. It's like, okay, I make money sometimes I don't. So the consistency is the key for me. Being consistent. I don't care if you make $50 every day. If you can make $50 a day, that's consistency. If you can do that for 2-3 months, you know what you're doing, right? Because when you make 50, you can make 200, right? It's just the number of contracts you're using. So just get
and $50 a day. You know what though? I think when you talk about a mentality, I think when you put numbers out there like $50 a day, right? Some people feel like that ain't no money, but listen, here's what I'll say: $250, in 5 days, that's what, $250 for a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you times that by 4, right? And what do you got? You might have half of your rent,
right?
You might have half of your rent, right? Or 60% of your rent, or and if you're living in different places in different states that have lower rent, that might be your rent money.
And
you know what I'm saying?
You made that $50 in like 10 minutes.
Right.
That's the key.
Right.
The key is how fast you're making the money. It's not so much the money, it's how fast you're making it, right? Because that gives you your time back. You know what I'm saying? It gives you a lot of freedoms. So that's the key, right? We got doctors in our group that's tired of We got doctors in our group that told me, I had made like, I think $5,000 one day, and they told me, they said, hey, you know how long it would take me to make $5,000? I got to do a surgery. I just made $5,000 in 20 minutes. So let me get this straight. You were a surgeon, and it took you 5, 6, 7 hours to be in surgery to make $5,000. I just made it in 20 minutes, right? So
yeah, well, and it's stressful too. I mean, look, being a doctor, especially if we're talking surgery, is very stressful. And I think it's more stressful now being a healthcare physician than ever before. I think it's just with everything that's going on, and it's just nuts.
Groups of doctors, groups of nurses. We got groups in like nurse care facilities. They just tired, man, because the money's taken. It's hard work. Hours of work. They work in 13, 14-hour shifts. So there's a lot of nurses. There's groups of nurses that's in our group because they want to learn this, and they're successful. They're starting to get really good at it. And for some women, man, women are doing a thing in this space. Black women, I don't know what it is about black women, but they're taking off. Like in our group, black women, they come in, they hit the ground running faster than the men. I promise you. I'd be like, wow. They check in with me. I check in, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I make $300 a day, $300. I'm like, dang, okay. Men take a little bit longer. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but black women are taking off doing this.
That's interesting because a lot of women that I know, they're very risk averse. So a lot of them, they just hold, they invest, but then they hold a lot because they're risk averse. And, they don't want to, they don't want to risk. So it's good to see that,
it's a lot.
That there are women that are in your group that are really doing well with this, because they should, they get in the bag, I mean, they've been getting the bag, now they're getting another bag.
Yep. Some of them, they work. Some of them don't even work. They do that. They hang out with their kids. They care the kids all day. They do a couple trading, in the daytime, make some bread. They done made the $300. they good for the day. They out shopping, doing what they got to do. They done. They can still take care of the kids. Some of them, you know what I'm saying? And some of them work. Some of them are trying to get out of that. Some of them don't work, right? But a lot of women, they're making a lot of money doing this. And I'm watching it. I'm seeing it real time. I'm like, wow, you know, because it takes a lot. It's a lot. You have to study. It's a lot of studying. It's a lot of research. So, you know, I don't know what it is. I guess it could be women are just really good at prioritizing, you know, they're strict with budgeting. There could be a lot of that discipline. You know, I don't know.
Well, that's the other thing. You know, a lot of women are good at budgeting too, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of them hold their own household budgets. They could be married. They hold the whole budget. You know, the household budget. They do that whole thing. So, you know, I think a lot of women, because they are risk averse, a lot of times, like where they don't want to, you know, risk a lot. That brings in a lot of discipline too. The discipline that you talked about earlier, where you say, "Yo, I'm doing 300 and I'm done.
I'm out."
Right. So I think a lot of women have the capability. They're just like, yo, I'm good. Right. As a man, a lot of men, because it's ego.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot of us. I gotta get the bag, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Or you see another guy made 10,000.
You know?
I don't pocket watch people in the group. I'm happy for people when they make money, but like my
Mm-hmm.
he makes 50,000 a day, bro. Minimum 20,000. That's not my bag. I'm happy for him. I can't trade like him. I don't have his money. I don't have his risk tolerance. And he wants me to step it up, and you could be this. Dude, I'm not ready yet, and I'm not there yet. So I do everything. I trade like a robot, and I got my little 2,000, whatever I make a day, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm out the game. I'm like, I close the laptop. I don't care if the stock keep running. I don't care what happened. People be texting me. This is happening. You missing out. It's all right. I don't care what kind of play happens. There's always another play tomorrow. Right? I don't care what happens. It could be an amazing play. There's always something else that happens the next day. So I don't get caught up. You know
I think a lot of people get caught up in FOMO, and that's like fear of missing out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. It's like, man, like I made 3, but man, I could have made 1,300 like if I stayed in. And that's what I mean, like that
right.
Adrenaline, that oh man, like I missed out on a lot of things. But when you said earlier, remember your why.
Mm-hmm.
Also have a number in mind that you want to reach, and then
right.
leave. And be happy that you have the ability to reach that number. And then I think you know you'll be successful.
Yep.
So look, one, appreciate you coming out and being here on Conversation of the Heart, and really giving this information, because it's super important to the community for streams of income. People are looking for multiple streams of income like never before. You know, so to have this conversation about trading options, I think it's incredible, and it's a great opportunity. So if people want to reach out to you to talk about the group of trading options, and tell them where they can reach out to you as far as giving your handle and
Bryan
stuff.
Tillman 3, my IG handle. Just hit me on IG, or if you got my number, just hit me up. A couple people have reached out to me already, so I'm more than willing and happy to help. I'm not charging people yet and doing stuff like that. I just want to see people eat, man. I love to see how people win. And that's why I help people in the group, because I just love that, man. I'm not, I'm already making money trading, so I'm not going crazy trying to get money, with taking people money to help. I help you get started. If you need some help, just reach out.
No doubt. All right, man. Listen, appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on our show, man. And we'll talk soon.
Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. All right. I'll see y'all this Thursday coming up. New episode with At That Free Joel. The last part of our series, part 3 to our series, is coming up in just 2 days. Thursday, Conversation of the Heart, 6:30 right here. And we will be getting into estate planning. We will be getting into wills. The whole series is surrounding caretaking for a loved one, and everything in between of what you need to take care of a loved one that is sick, and preparing for all of those instances. So that will be Thursday, final part of our series. Don't miss it. Estate planning, will planning, dealing with, also a loss too of a loved one, and how do you cope and how do you deal. And we'll get into all of that this Thursday. Yo, Appreciate y'all for tuning in.